order. Please rise and for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, the school board will convene to close session tonight to consider the employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. Spring coaches, gifted and talented teacher, athletic director, aid positions, support staff salary schedule, teacher salary ladder, drama-related stipends, ELL rate of pay, and staff pay during pandemic crisis. A couple little housekeeping items. We are live streaming tonight. The free beer on the screen is not the school's graphic. It's our guest. So we don't know if they're coming out tomorrow or not.
Lisa, it just should be noted that Jay and I are in attendance, but we are in another room.
Yep, I'm getting there. Getting there. We have in this room Dave Kakmarinsky, Keith Volkman, Kyle Lupke, Carl Volkman, Lisa Berry, and Karen Brower. Board member Cindy Ehlers is absent tonight. Jason and Sue today are participating remotely from another room in the school. Our board policy does allow that. So for health considerations in this time of virus, they're down in the other room. I think that covers all of the kind of housekeeping items. We didn't have any guests requesting to comment, so we'll pass by that one. Item 5A, Door County Medical Center Services presentation has been canceled or postponed. So then we will move on to the Gray Associates Architects update on the building project. Oh, missed recognition. Sorry guys, wait a minute. We do tonight recognize two retiring board members, Jay Zahn and Karen Brower. Jay, there's a package in the room down there for you with a note from one of the board members. And Jay, what year did you come on the board?
I came 9 years ago.
Okay, so Jay's been on the board 9 years. He's served as treasurer for most of that time, if not all of that time. And
only the last couple of years.
Only the last couple of years, okay.
Yeah.
So I'll remember Jay as like a really direct, get to the point person.
Yeah, I guess so.
And then for Karen, when did you come on the board? I don't recall.
I served one term, so 3 years ago.
Wow, she only came on 3 years ago. And Karen, I will remember for her questioning because she asks questions that I never think of. So, I don't know if anybody else had any comments? No? Okay.
So thank you.
Thank you both for your service to the district over these last years. We'll miss you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, then we will move on to the Gray Architects update on the building project.
Hello, Gray, you guys there?
We're here.
Perfect. Take it away.
So again, today we're just hoping to have a little bit of your time. Obviously, I think your thoughts and actions are obviously turned in another direction. But we did want to kind of report back to the board, having received bids and kind of, really kind of marking the completion of the design part of the project. We're really happy with the bid results. Not only that, but Kyle, we kind of, talked about even the furniture bid results, really seeing great numbers there. So with that, I'm going to kind of turn it over to Myron, kind of just with kind of a quick update of where we sit. I believe they have, if you guys are logged onto the computer, they do have some kind of visuals of where we sit, and then obviously we'll answer any questions you guys have.
Hi, this is Mike Smith. So, yes, we met last week. and walked through all of the different alternates, selected the alternates that you wanted to accept. We've got everything cleaned up. At this point, what you're seeing is, I'm going to zoom in to help everybody see, where we stand against the original referendum budget. So with the 4 accepted alternates, you're still in really great shape. I did not include any of the furniture bid changes as of this morning. I'm still getting all of those numbers together. So you're in even a little better shape than this. Does anybody have questions?
Jay or Sue, questions for Mike from Myron?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Mike, are you gonna like highlight the contingency fund yet and the bedrock and winter conditions and that kind of, those numbers?
So, I'm sorry, whoever was talking there, you're not close enough to the microphone, I couldn't hear you.
Mike, can you highlight the winter conditions and the bedrock removal and the project contingency numbers a little bit?
I'm sorry, if there was an actual question there.
Is the
I need
microphone on the
to
laptop
move
or is
closer
it
to
Yeah,
the
on?
microphone.
Lisa, can you repeat it, Lisa? Because we can hear you loud and clear.
All right, well, I just moved closer. I just want to know if you could highlight the contingency fund and the bedrock allowance and the winter conditions funds.
Yep. So, right now, we've still set the contingency at $1 million. The bedrock removal is still set at $175,000, winter conditions at $200,000.
Okay, and then you want to discuss the demolition of the existing portions of the building?
Mm-hmm. So at the moment, we have a bid from the MRD group, $848,000. We got word that there were 2 other potential bidders that weren't comfortable sending their bids in because of some open questions. Our plan right now is to put a demolition-only package out. So we're going to hold off on awarding that package. And through some asking of questions, we're very confident that that number will come down. One of the things I reached out to the environmental consultant today, still waiting to hear back. With the school being closed, I was wondering if it was possible to get her into the school to survey paint surfaces for lead paint, because that was one of the concerns that the demolition bidders had. If the concrete and concrete block is painted with lead-based paint, they're unable to recycle that and it has to go to salvage, or it has to go to a landfill. If it does not have lead-based paint, then they're able to crush it and recycle it. I'll be honest with you, based on the age of the building and the number of coats of paint, the likelihood is almost everything has lead-based paint.
So you'll have to
I
consult
would
with
like to
maintenance?
talk about that before we say, yes, you can come in early, because I want to know if we test it, then we have kids coming back in the school building, if we're okay or not. So if that's a possibility, maybe, but let's touch base tomorrow or next week about that. Because I don't want to commit to yes and then find out that, would that change anything else, Mike?
Would that change anything else, Mike?
For student
Kyle said he's a little worried about, testing and then having kids come back in the building.
No, the test they use for the lead-based paint, the best way I can describe it, it's like a little ray gun. They would simply use their little gun and it would know if there is lead-based paint. It can't tell me what layer of paint it's in, but it can tell me that the paint is lead-based at some level.
So really no
It's
surfaces,
complete,
go ahead.
no destruction.
No surfaces would be disturbed. The gun
No
picks it up.
surfaces would be disturbed. It would not impact the kids. It's simply, somebody has to be able to have free reign to walk around the building and do stuff.
That could be arranged.
Kyle said that can be arranged. He'll touch base with you on that.
Okay, wonderful.
For the board members that weren't part of the core team, those alternates that he talked about are things that we kind of took out of the project and said, well, let's see how this comes along. So when you look at your sheet there, like over toward the right side, it says alternate 2, add metal panel banding and screens. That's to dress up this.
The north side of the 1965 gym.
The north side of the 1965 gym, because we'll have a new building and then the old look. So that's that one. Terrazzo in the Commons, they're going to be running a lot of carts and things back and forth, and it may feel, rubber's supposed to be a really durable product, but the terrazzo will be destruction proof, as I understand it.
And maintenance free.
Maintenance free. There were 3 skylights in the upper level of the elementary hallway, and we opted to take those out to save the cost and because it's a penetration in the roof and you risk eventual leaking. And then provide ACT3 instead of ACB1. That was kind of a baffled panel system in the library that didn't add so much acoustic power as it did just a different look, so we opted to take that out. So that's what those alternates were.
Yeah, in general, Board, I mean, the idea behind the alternates was, again, to give us some flexibility on bid day. Obviously, things could have gone the other way, and we, again, we're always kind of driven by what the market temperature is. So we put some of those alternates in, I think, with the hopes that we didn't need to take a vast majority of them. But we had them just in case, again, our bid day wasn't as favorable as it ultimately was. So again, there were a couple of them that enhanced things, and the group selected a few of those. And then, again, a vast majority of them were kind of either reductions in the type of a product that we were doing, or quantity, or in some cases eliminating some things maybe the group didn't need going forward. So again, really, I think overall, again, really positive on all accounts there.
Sure, Carl, go ahead. Carl Volkman, business manager, has a question for you.
We received our second set of money from the referendum, and our investment group was wondering, is the drawdown schedule is there any changes in that currently in the drawdown schedule for liquidity?
We can take a look at that. Again, we probably haven't updated that in quite some time. And now that we kind of have everything figured out, some of the actual construction scheduling will really become finalized. We can take a better look through that, put in the actual numbers represented here in the construction, and we can give you guys an update on that. I would say by and large, it's probably fairly, a pretty good still look at things, but again, between Bray and Myron, we can update that and get you a better look at things.
Okay.
When do you need it by, Carl?
Any other questions from Mr. Lutke, board members?
When do you need it by, Carl?
As far as that drawdown schedule, the sooner the better would be helpful when we could get it.
Did you hear that, Clint?
Well, asking for it now, you couldn't ask for a better time. A lot of my meetings have been canceled, so I've had quite a bit of time in the office, so I will work on it tomorrow. From my end, as a starting point, I'll send it over to Mike and his team to review, I guess, their anticipation for scheduling and when they think their billings will be and the magnitude of them throughout the duration of construction. And so we'll do our best to get it over to you, I'll just say early next week sometime.
Thank you.
Yeah, Rick and Jeremy, our superintendent, have been working on the preliminary construction schedule, so shouldn't take us too long to put a drawdown schedule together.
Okay. Anything else for them, Mr. Lupke?
No, I have no more questions.
Anything else from you for us?
No, just good luck with everything. Obviously, this is quite a nutty time, worldwide, and so best of luck with figuring out how we're going to continue to educate kids and kind of the plan forward. Again, the really good news that it would be tough if we were trying to make this fit in budget. And again, we're very fortunate that we got great numbers and we're able to move forward and again add some of those nice things back into the project or into the project. And so yeah, we're excited to just see construction get started.
Yep, it's been a pleasurable experience thus far, so thank you. Thank you, Clint, thank you, Mike, thank you, anybody else that's hanging on the line. We'll hang up.
All right, thanks, have a great night.
You too,
Yep.
take care.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
So, I guess we're done with them. We have the consent agenda. Are there any items of the consent agenda that someone would like removed? If not, the consent agenda is approved by consent with donations from Linda Swiespanek. I'm sorry, I butchered your name, I apologize, for a science department telescope. Mike and Barb Madden, $1,000 for the Echo Lab restoration, and the Jandu family donation of $5,000 for scholarship and student needs. We had the 3 administrator reports in our packets from Mr. Baer, Mr. Hills, and Mrs. Margraf. So we'll move to Mr. Lupke's report.
Well, I just want to let you know that the last 2 weeks, I met with public health each of the last 2 weeks, and Doran County Medical Center, we plan on meeting every Monday indefinitely now. So that's where most of my focus has been, and that's where we'll continue to be here for a while. So.
Did you get that, Jane Sue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I do not have anything. A letter came to me from a staff member. I'm not sure if all the board got it or not, so I put it at your table. Take a look at it, maybe before closed session. Then we have committee reports. The negotiations committee met on February 27th. The SEA brought some pay scale alternatives, I'll say, and we looked at those, and Mr. Lukey went back to work on those, and we'll talk about that further in closed session. I think that's really all that we did at negotiations, Dave.
Yeah, it was a good discussion. They brought some good numbers. They did their homework. I think that's important. And we had a good discussion, so I think it.
The core planning team on March 5th and March 12th.
We went over the alternate bids basically.
Was those both meetings were the
The
alternates?
5th was just us, the
12th.
12th was with Bray
Yeah.
and Myron, yeah.
On the
so
5th, Sue, Dave, I, and Mr. Lukey and Rock and Dan met to look at the alternates, those 13 alternates, and we hashed out what we thought was right, and then on the 12th, we had a telephone conference with Bray and Myron to finalize those. And I guess more information will be coming to us as they
I would
start
add, if
ramping
I
up.
may. I should have set up there on a horn. I told them in the meeting, but I think for anyone listening, I think Bray and Myron have guided us very well at this point in the project. Bid day was exciting for our numbers to come in the way they did. So, we have the school we're looking to have in budget. That's exciting. We've got a lot of work ahead of us, but those meetings were good meetings to have, and we're in a very neat place right now, so we'll see what the future brings.
Did you have anything you wanted to add on core team, Sue?
No, I think we pretty well covered it. Thank you.
Communication committee met on March 9th. Karen?
Yep, we hashed over the plans for the upcoming paper, starting to get some things in line, as well as the next one. Not sure what might be changing with that, since with all the coronavirus things going on. I've been in communication since then with Justin Skiba in regards to us maybe having a meeting via email with throwing out some other alternative ideas of some things for communications with our teachers, our staff, our community, our students during this time when we're not together being in one building. So I'll be talking more with Kyle about that. Even though I'm stepping down from being on the school board, at the end of my term, I'm going to continue being on the communications committee. So
That's great.
Great.
as a parent rep and community member, so.
Good, excellent. Yeah, I did mention that in your recognition, you really did get that committee rolling after we were.
It's been a great group to work with.
After we were kind of dead in the water for a while.
No, it's been a great group.
Mr. Lukey, the budget report?
The budget, you have a handout, $5.1 million that we drew on the bonds. Those funds have now been invested in the various amounts in the right-hand column. And you can see the interest rates in the middle column with the durations on the left. Interest rates have dropped significantly. The lowest one on here is 0.85%, and our best interest rate is 1.68. So times are really low with the interest rates, so it helps in some areas and hurts in others, and that's where it is. So, yeah.
It is. Anything else budget-wise?
I'm a little behind on building next year's budget, but maybe now that things, I don't know, every day something switches, but if things stay constant a little bit, I can get back at that, so.
Okay. On facilities?
One more thing on budget. I did have to move some funds around. The money that we bring in for our debt service, what I learned at one conference and talking to the one conference I was able to go to when talking to other business managers, that money needs to be kept separate, because any interest that you earn on that money has to be used for paying off your debt. It cannot be used for anything else. And when it all came in through tax levy, it was in the general bank account. So today I was finally able to talk to DPI, get the proper journal entries made, got the money, and then transfer the fund. It'll be at ADM, who's our investment bank. Put it in there, they'll do the investment on it, the little bit of interest that we'll make now on it before we take our next payment in September of interest and principal will stay in that account, and as we gain interest, we'll be able to make additional payments on principal, but no money, no interest earned in that can be used for general fund until after all debt is paid. So in 20-some years, whenever we pay it off, if there's anything left, then you can use it, but until then, it has to stay in that account.
Okay, thank you. So is there anything that wasn't in your report that you wanted to report on?
Yes, WASD has been doing a marvelous job in keeping up to date on the coronavirus. I listened to one of their free webinars earlier in the week that was put on by attorneys Forbes and Butler, and they talked about equity being a factor here, particularly in regard to special needs students. They talked about pay for staff. They talked about unemployment compensation possibilities. This is all preserved on the WASD website if you didn't have a chance to watch the webinar. And there will be another one tomorrow at 3 p.m. And they will be talking about special education services, the legal requirements during this close down time. They'll be talking about public relations, WIAA issues, and I would encourage anyone to check the WASD website because they have lots of resources dealing with the coronavirus, as does CISA 7. Jeff Dickert has pulled together a variety of resources from many, many different places, and some really excellent materials on the CISA 7 website as well. So there's a lot going on right now, and we can take advantage of some of these things. I think legislatively, I would like to contact Representative Kitchen and Senator Josh We are certainly in need of high-speed internet, and now is the time to really bring that forward. As long as I've been back living in Door County, they've been talking about the need for high-speed internet, and I think now is the time to really bring this message forward. And I just finished reading Robin Roberts' book, lots of time to read now, and one thing she talked about, message your best. And I think we do have a mess here as far as accessibility of high-speed internet, and I would like to message that with Representative Kitchen and Senator John.
Several of the towns in our district, Sevastopol, Egg Harbor, and Jacksonport have applied to a grants with the state. Jacksonport and Egg Harbor would be putting up 3 towers for internet. I think Sevastopol applied 2. So we expect that funding to come through in March, and they would have the towers up late summer, fall, which will help a lot of people. It's not going to cover everybody. There's going to be more of that needed, but it's a start.
Can we go back to the facility report?
Sure, look, we're going to circle back to facilities for a second.
Facilities, just want to let you know what's going on with the building right now. The custodians are cleaning every room, and they're going to disinfect all the rooms. Friday, we're going to close down the building at 6 o'clock, and we're going to keep it closed for 72 hours. We're going to do a little longer because we're not going to come back Monday night. It'll be Tuesday morning. We want no one in the building at all, so that the whole building is vacant and no one's touching anything or bringing anything new in. It just stays vacant. So that's where the custodians have been busting their tails around here. They've been really working hard, and tomorrow will be another hard day for them. And the other part about the facilities, the cooks have been in the last couple days, and tomorrow we're going to start delivering meals. We're going to use our school buses, and we're going to stop at every household on the bus routes, plus at the Nightingale in Sturgeon Bay. Anyone 18 or younger can get a meal. We're going to have 2 staff members on the bus to start with for the first few days until we see how smooth it goes and when we can streamline it. Families will have the option, there'll be a note in there if they want to opt out, if they don't want the food, they can email or call Casey Andrews, and then he can more appropriately make the right number of meals. But those are the 2 things that are going on in the facilities right now that are pretty important.
And that, just so,
Yep.
is that for all kids? Or
It's
just
for all
free?
kids, it's not free and reduced at this time, it's all reimbursable meals, and it's 100% of our student population. And if we have a student that lives in Sevastopol that open enrolls to another school district, we feed them as well. It's 18 and under, it doesn't have to be a Sevastopol student. Same, likewise, if we have students that live in Sturgeon Bay, they can pick up the meals from the Sturgeon Bay School District, that's okay.
Is it, I guess, just on the same note, is there a benefit to the district as far as, you said, families can opt out? Is it good to have more participation, or is there?
It's nice to have participation, but we want to make sure we're feeding those that need it. So yes. Yeah, and you can't, like, if your family says we don't need it, please give it to someone else, that's not allowed. So only the students can receive it, or the people 18 and younger can receive it. So people
They can say, give an extra.
pass it down the road, no, that's not allowed.
Give 2 to someone.
No, now if they accept it and they pass it on themselves, that's great, but we cannot do that. But we're gonna go with everyone to start with, and if someone opts out, then we'll take them off the list.
So my question would be, we are in the district, we don't use the busing, but they're still gonna be stopping at our house?
They should have your address, and
Okay.
if a bus goes
And
past.
are they coming up to the door?
They're coming up the door, sitting on the porch, knocking and getting back
Okay.
on, trying to have no contact. If they see
Right.
someone, they'll wave, set it down,
Okay.
say hi, but stay social distance way, right? And the deliverers will be wearing gloves, and they will re-glove after every stop.
Okay.
And the meals, there's 2 meals at each drop. There's a breakfast and a lunch. Yeah, so you get 2 at one time. You're getting in the afternoon, so it's probably the breakfast for the next day, and they don't have to stay cold. They're packaged so that they're okay, so.
Excellent.
2 things on that. One, what happens to the special ed kids that we have that are over 18? Are they not included in that? Because I know we have 2 for sure.
They're not included in what the things that, from the
meal.
directive from the meal reimbursement, but if they're on our route, we'll drop it off.
Okay,
Yeah.
and do they have to change gloves since they're not making contact with anybody?
They have to at this point, yes.
Okay.
Until we see how it runs for the first few days, and we're gonna have 2 people on the bus with the driver. We may reduce that to 1. The routes may get changed, but this time we have all of our routes running, so we see how it goes, but it's a work in process. We haven't done it yet, so we're expecting to take extra time tomorrow. Tomorrow's the first day,
Okay.
and it's on days when school normally would be in session, so April 9th, 10th, and 13th, we're not in session, so we wouldn't deliver on those days. Those days we're in session.
We're not just curious, where did the program originate? Was this Sevastopol thing or?
No, this is
area?
statewide, this is statewide, everyone's, yeah. Even over the weekend, Casey got together with other food directors from Door County and started discussing it, but this is statewide.
The state is funding it, is that?
I believe it's the federal government's funding it.
We're not funding.
No.
Sevastopol's not funding the meals, it's.
And even the mileage on the buses, the delivery people's time, wages, that's all reimbursable.
It's through the US Department of Agriculture.
Right.
USDA is funding it.
So they're not having any problems ordering in the supplies to do this because this wouldn't have been the regular stuff we had on hand.
Correct. We ordered a large order that arrived today, and we didn't get all the items we wanted. We got the majority of what we wanted.
Good.
So, and we're gonna, yeah, we're
Make it work.
Yeah, we're trying to.
Yep.
We'll get as much food as we can.
Yep.
Casey's concerned with soon not being able to get chocolate milk. We can live with white milk, so that's just something that's going to happen. That's one of the first things that's going to get cut in. So, yeah, we will use more milk. If we keep giving out all these meals, we'll use more than we do on a regular basis.
And how are they doing on gloves, if that's going to be
We got
something?
lots of them
Okay,
right
good.
now.
Because I know
Don't
when
know
my
how
work
long,
gets
yeah,
done,
right, I don't know
again.
how, with it being not April 6th anymore, being indefinite, I can't say we have gloves forever, but we have quite a few gloves for now. So, good.
We'll move to old business then, and our first item is the funding request for the town of Sevastopol for the pickleball tennis courts.
I met with Mark Hain from the town of Sevastopol with the baseball, softball coaches and March 11th, and we had a couple diamond fix-up days, and he was supposed to let me know by the 27th if he had workers for it. First home games are supposed to be April 4th, obviously those are off, so I don't see us moving forward with this. We're not going to be using the facilities over there for quite a while, so I don't see any reason to take any action on this and come back in a year. if we
Do you have
need
any
to.
comment on that, Jay or Sue?
No, sounds reasonable.
Yep.
Okay, so, no action. We then put 2 policies on for review in this time of the pandemic, 8410 school safety and crisis intervention, and 8453 direct contact with communicable diseases. Anybody want to are there comments on those, or is there something we need to update within our policies?
I think at this point, we just follow what the state tells us to do. It changes every other day or every day. I mean, it's ever changing, so we've got to be, yeah, we got to be reactionary. I went from 50 people to 10. When it was 50, we were planning a blood drive.
Yeah.
We've had a blood drive on our calendar for next week for a long time, and we were at 50 people. Dale Carlson said, would you still have the blood drive? I said, yeah, 50 people, we can have a blood drive here because we know the need is great. Well, later that day, it changed to 10 people. Obviously, we're not going to have the blood drive, then we're going to go to the Red Cross to do that. With Red Cross being located in Green Bay, that's a major inconvenience for them and for our folks, but we've had to react every time new news comes out. We have to react to what we're doing.
Jay or Sue?
No, that's fine.
Let's take a look at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just do what they tell you to do.
Okay, we'll move to new business then, and new member orientation, we will have 2 new school board members in April. Did anybody have specific items they thought board members should be orientated on that maybe isn't already on Mr. Lukey's list? And I don't know what that list is, but
I did find attending the WASB new board member orientation be very informative and let you know about the resources that are available. It was held in Green Bay. It was, I believe it's organized by this, within the CISAs, or it might even be a little bit broader. But it was also nice because you met people that were starting off just like you were and from our part of the state. And then in the future, when you attended like the conventions and such, I would touch back with a couple people that I met and just said, how's it going? And then I did get a phone call from, I dropped the name, dropped out of my mind, but somebody within the state that was just checking in to see how is it going as a new board member. And I thought that was great and knew that there was people out there for resources. That's at that level. On the school level, I think it would just be a great idea is to invite the new members in to explain to them, show them what a packet looks like. You know, Mr. Whiteman obviously does know, but even in the future going forward, explain to them the packet process, and then if they need to come back to you and ask questions. I find the financial area is always like, what are these funds for? I know I've said in the past, but I would continue to say I think it would be really nice if we could have the number, the name of it, and a brief description as to what that fund is for. It's not going to change. It's going to take some time to create it, but then we can all use it to refer back to, so we understand what the ins and outs of that special account are. But those for me would be some key things to talk to new board members about.
I could speak to the WASB session that you were referring to, Karen. That is sponsored by WASB and not CISA. We have scheduled our Region 3 new board member orientation for April 21 in Green Bay. However, at this point in time, the WASD office is closed due to the virus, and we have been alerted as WASD directors that it is likely the orientation will not take place in person, but will be done electronically. So I will keep everyone posted on that as new information comes out from our office in Madison.
my ideas were more procedural, and I'll share those with Mr. Lukey, and who knows when we'd be able to have an orientation with new board members. I guess we'll just be on hold with that.
Well, and the election has to happen for Jane Karen to be off.
And the election has to happen, which could, something else could happen there.
So you're not off yet.
It's not done yet then.
Yeah.
Indefinite, what's the word, indefinite?
In perpetuity.
Okay, we have a series of resignations, so we'll just go, just a motion on each one. A motion, second, questions, and we'll just move through them. So somebody would like to start with number 1.
Move to accept Lindsay DeYoung, middle school track assistant coach resignation.
I'll second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 2,
I'll make a motion to approve the resignation of Chris Horvat as the high school cross-country head coach.
Second.
questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 3,
I make a motion to approve the resignation of Megan Morgan, high school cross-country assistant coach.
Second.
questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 4,
Move to approve the resignation of Elizabeth Junion, aide.
Second, Boo.
questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 5,
I'll make a motion to approve the resignation of Kaylee Sinclair as an aide.
Second.
questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 6, Kim Souther.
Move to approve the resignation of Kim Souther, music choir teacher.
I will second that.
questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item 7.
Lisa, on that one, with that in motion, I included the end of the 2019-2020 school year. It's not immediate. For Kim Souther.
Oh, okay, so, whoever made that a motion.
That was Sue.
Carl's including in that motion, Sue, at the end of the 1920 school year.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Right.
Okay. Item 7.
Move to approve the resignation of Jason Beery, high school boys basketball head coach.
Second,
Second.
questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. Okay, we are on to the agreement with Door County Medical Center for the athletic trainer, school nurse, and OTPT services.
On this motion, make sure you include to be effective July 1st, 2020.
I move to approve the agreement for Door County Medical Center for athletic trainer, school nurse, OTPT services to be effective July 1st, 2020.
Second.
Other questions or discussion on that? Mr. Lucchini?
Yeah, I do have a price per hour for the OTPT. It's $72.96. And last year, Carl and I worked numbers to see if we were cheaper for having our own person or not. We're not. I mean, it's not even close.
It's
It's
economically
thousands away.
advantageous.
Economically better to go with the hospital, you know?
Okay.
Good.
We had a motion and a second on that?
Yes, we had a motion and a second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We then have to take a look at the board committees. I thought before we get 2 new board members, we'd just take a look at these to see, are there some that we just don't use and should eliminate? And just, what's the point of having it on the list? Or where we would have a liaison instead of a representative. The athletic committee, I don't think we've had an athletic committee meet for 10 years. Do you think we still need that? Or should we remove it and make an ad hoc committee if we feel the need to meet on that?
What did they do?
Well, why don't we remove it, and then if some need arises or some group organizes it, we can put it back.
That was a time when there was a big look at coaches' salaries and how they compared to other areas. When the softball team wasn't playing at Institute because the field was grass infield, and they played up at Jacksonport, so they, studied that kind of stuff. So I think we remove it and put it in place of ad hoc if we need it in the future. I think, Mr. Lukey?
Okay.
Well, we need to continue with the properties, buildings, and security, communication. I guess it's always understood
Can I
that,
ask a question?
yeah.
What's a ramification for getting rid of a committee? Because we can add
I
it
was
back.
gonna say, do you think it would,
Okay, that's right.
No, because you can add committees when you need them.
Whatever you need. If
Right,
all of a
right,
sudden-
right.
Like we possibly bringing in a new AD.
Right.
if
I was gonna
something-
say, what would be would that just
Other than
with-
taking them off the list, because the
What-
2 things that you mentioned were right back at those issues again today.
Right, I mean, I guess.
Stipends and field conditions.
But we don't have a committee.
Right.
Let's get rid of them. It's wasting paper, and then, build it, they will come. I say we clean up the books, and then if the energy's there and we need a committee, we'll name the baby,
And so, finance was always done
Do you want to
as a
have?
whole.
I mean,
No, I'm just saying-
I'm
just wondering.
Tell people.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, like, we have new ED coming in, we had, some coaches leaving, like Karen said, there's some of those things that you mentioned are
From 10 years
surfacing
ago, are
again.
actually going on right now.
You know,
Maybe it's actually time to bring back that
I was
committee.
gonna say, rather than getting rid of it, maybe it would be a time maybe to revamp it.
To leave it there.
That's just my opinion.
Then if
Well-
you're gonna do that, then rather than say as needed, we should assign 2
Yeah,
or 3
let's
board members
schedule
to
the darn
it.
thing.
Do it one way or the other, doesn't matter.
But I agree, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, rather than getting,
Okay,
Well, I think we have a chairperson right here. So then next month.
I'd be one, I'm not on the committee, so I mean, if need be, I will.
Okay, we'll put you down for that committee and then,
Well, I guess I would, well, we,
But, you know, I think 2 or 3 board members, just, if you're gonna have a committee, you gotta have some members on it, right?
when would it start though? I would expect with the changing of personnel,
We'd start, we'd have a meeting hopefully between now, I don't know. I'd say between now and the next board meeting, but I don't know that for a fact, because I don't know what's the world's gonna be like. But ideally, that's what we do. You'd have, okay, we got some committee members now, let's meet and figure out where our direction. So
Okay.
Communications got together, and first thing we did was the district newsletter, and ticked off one item after another. So athletics wants to get going, great, but then we need to have,
And
I
we
would
don't have to
certainly-
decide, we don't have to decide that tonight. We
Yeah,
I
usually,
would certainly be part of that committee,
Okay.
because I
Okay.
think
I mean,
it
I would
warranted
too,
at this
yeah.
time.
we usually fill these in May after the board election,
Okay.
so we're gonna leave it alone.
See,
Someone in
well
May,
done, sir.
just give me a call.
So we're gonna leave that one alone.
you'll be late here, we'll ask you, yeah.
We've got those.
And no one will
scanned.
forget you volunteered.
It's on the record, so.
We've got it.
Go to you.
that.
I got it. We've got the ad hoc committees. I guess the strategic planning is still going on. Do we have we don't have compensation and benefits anymore, do we?
No, we had negotiations.
Oh, yeah.
So I think the compensation and benefits committee is kind of defunct. Tech committee, I'm not sure if you guys are meeting on that or not.
Stephen can address often needs for the tech committee.
We've been doing it. We've went from once a month down to about once a quarter, but we're
Okay,
honestly,
then we leave it
we're,
alone.
yeah.
And the lunch committee, will that continue?
I would think it should.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
mean,
Jay and I were both the board members that were on
Right,
it, but,
so
oh,
then-
but
So
then
Dick
you,
and,
and you recently went
Dick
with
and
Casey
whoever
to
was
off-site for lunch, so
Right, right.
I think it would be good to continue with that.
yeah, I was hoping to be moving forward on that, and then, yeah.
Yeah, and but here we are, so.
Yeah, right, that was something, since last board meeting, that's something we did do.
So then these non-board committees. The Booster Club, does the Booster Club say, do the bylaws of the club, organization say that they have a school board representative? Because if they don't say a representative,
The Booster
then,
Club doesn't tell the board what to do. It doesn't say, hey, you have to have a member of the board on
Right.
here. But they do, I think you work more as a
I
liaison,
don't, I
right?
missed the quite a few years, but when I've gone, I was a, we didn't vote, they had their meeting, and if they had any questions that I could help with, we're seldom.
so,
So I participated to gain knowledge, and mainly because of my kids that are part of that too, you know, so.
it's hard to get to all those meetings, so I was thinking maybe these non-board items are liaisons to the committee, and the liaison asks to be included in their minutes and stuff, just so if there is something the board should be updated on, they can be updated on it.
So you're recommending calling them liaisons
I'm
rather than non-board committee?
recommending calling them liaisons. That-
And what's the difference mean in the wording? What does
Well,
that?
to me, a representative is a voting member, participating member.
Oh,
Because you can't vote at PTO.
Right. It says non-board committee, meaning some other organization's running it, and you go there, but you're not a member of their board, you're
yeah,
a
okay.
liaison.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Okay, I was just curious.
Just never sure.
And I find it interesting because we have technology listed here as well. You know, we have tech ed committee up top, and then we have technology in this area too.
Yeah, I'm not sure I know the difference.
Well, tech ed, I look at being tech ed, like
Like
Dan
Dan Sanborn
Sanborn's,
and Dave Phillips' there
and
is.
then technology is like our Stephen and the Chromebooks and the smart boards.
Right, then I just wonder why those curriculum areas get a board member or a committee compared to the other curriculum areas. Why is tech ed? I don't know.
Right, I see where,
Yeah.
it almost should be flip-flop.
I don't remember how that committee came.
I don't know, that tech ed committee, what comes to my mind is when we had all the meetings with computers and technology and stuff like that, and then how they were gonna talk about the one-to-one, that was when we kind of
With
did a
that,
big push with that. I thought that
Tech
was the
ed was
meeting.
coming around, the tech ed committee, we were talking about trying to work with the tech ed department and these relationships with other businesses and things like that. We talked about money to work on that, but we never really got anywhere with that.
Under non-board committees, Dave, there's
Yeah.
a technology.
That's
Dave
what that was?
Makwinski. I think that's the Stephen
Mhm.
type meeting. with
Yeah,
the-
okay, I'm
But you were like a
Is it
voting
stuff?
member there, and that
Well, did we
was,
vote? I don't know.
well, once in a while, but we just kind of said, here, we're gonna go,
We were in charge.
right?
We did
Yeah.
that.
If I could interject, I believe there was like formal board rules in voting that was before I was hired on. And since then, we've kind of moved away from that because we have somebody in the building to make the decisions instead of needing an entire group to come to a unanimous decision.
We had a lot of cooks in the kitchen on that one, and now we got Steven running the department. And we're in,
Well, and the other thing,
Really
these
good
committees
shape
come and
now.
go, when we need to put some focused energy into some technology, I'm very proud of you, done very well. And I think very few people of your staff, I think, I hear complaints. They're not complaining much about what this school district is doing. Am I wrong?
no, I got a lot of compliments from Steven just yesterday. I told Steven I was tired of hearing good things about him, so yes, no, he's really
So-
done a great job,
We got
yes.
rid of that, that
Right.
seems reasonable.
And
Things
we've
are-
gone
The
one-to-one,
ship's
and
moving, let her
we're just a
go.
lot, he's taken the department, he's run with it like we were hoping, even better,
Good.
so.
So we'll make a couple revisions to this form for April, May. We'll need to fill a couple of holes if an election occurs and if Jane and Karen are no longer on the school board. So that's just kind of informational for you. With no other regular business, we will convene to executive session. Can I hear a motion for that?
I'll make a motion to convene into executive session.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Keith?
Oh, aye.
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 Aye. Jade?
Aye.
Aye.
Sue? Sorry.
I,
Motion carried at 7:51 PM. We're back in open session at 9:26 PM. I'll take a motion to approve the spring golf coach.
I'd make a motion to approve Dan Sandberg as the golf coach.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Assistant baseball coach.
I'll move to approve Bob Bordeaux as the assistant baseball coach.
second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Gifted and talented
Assistant-
team.
No, assistant
assistant
girls
Oh.
Head coach.
We have one?
We don't have one, but it approved the position. at
Oh,
least.
okay, so a motion to approve the position of assistant girls soccer.
Move to approve the position of assistant girls soccer coach.
I'll second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Gifted and talented teacher / athletic director. Motion?
Move to approve the gifted and talented teacher athletic director as recommended.
You say it.
For Brooke Taint to be the gifted and talented teacher and athletic director.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. The Laura Lemke is full-time, moved to full-time special ed. Motion.
Make a motion to approve moving Laura Lemke to full-time paid position.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Kelsey to full-time.
Kelsey,
Tiffany?
Tiffany Nelson.
full-time.
Move to approve Tiffany Kelsey as the full-time special education associate.
I'll second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Halftime aide, Irwin.
Move to approve Chris Irwin as a part-time special education associate.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Lama, halftime.
Move to approve Prem Lama as part-time special education associate.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Support staff salary schedule. That was column 2.
I'll make a motion to approve column 2 as presented for the support staff salary schedule.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Teacher salary ladder. And that was page
Option 9.
9.
I'd make a motion to approve page 9, teacher salary ladder adjustment.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Drama-related stipends. Motion to approve those new.
Move to approve the drama stipends as recommended.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. ELLA rate of pay.
Move to approve the ELL aid rate of pay as recommended.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. And then the staff pay during the pandemic crisis.
Move to approve the recommendations of the administration for staff pay during the pandemic crisis.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. That concludes our business for the evening. Thank you again, Jay and Karen. You may wish that you not attend another meeting, but you might be.
Thank you for the very nice award.
And so our future meeting pending, we can have a meeting, will be April 16th of 2020. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Good night at, is it 9:31 PM.